Hi, all my new YouTube friends. I'm still working on that greeting thing. I haven't got it down, so that's going to be it. I've actually been thinking about you, I mean, the collective you, in lieu of faces right now, because of all the comments that I've been getting. I cannot tell you how overwhelming and fulfilling, affirming, all these things, challenging. I absolutely love, this dialogue that we're developing. Keep the comments coming. Robert's been kind enough to go through a lot of these things, and I'm reading as much as I can. If you see the little hearts, or if you don't see a heart by it, don't like the comment. My fingers just get sore. And every once in a while I'll answer one, but I still have my day job producing records. And last week I actually played 3 days of sessions, something I haven't done in so long. We can talk about that at another time. What I wanted to say before I was driving over here to Robert's house to film this today. He's really gracious. He has a great setup. And by the way, any of you asking about all this stuff, this is all Robert's stuff, so we can talk about the gear in a little bit. But the experience, for me, we all, right, most of us, I know there's some drummers and some bass players and some keyboard players who've commented, so it's not just guitar players, but the majority of you are guitar players. And all of us are drawn to this shaped instrument. It's so cool. And somehow we integrate with this thing at different times of our lives. We build our egos, we build who we are around these things. Some of us still do it because it's just fun. It takes us places we wouldn't normally go. For whatever your reason, whatever your experience, hopefully we kind of meld these into one and the same thing. If I were with you, I would ask you, what do you think your purpose, what do you think your desires are, your goals are for this thing? I can go through some of mine. As a matter of fact, today, this is another episode on a Giant song, and it's kind of an epic song, so it's a really good one to do. I can talk about that. We'll talk about that, but I'm also going to talk about the kind of the reaching for something higher, better than yourself. Some of the licks on this thing. I tried to play this outro lick, and holy mackerel! I mean, it was a bit more than actually I was even ready for today. I'd say I got about an 85, 89%. So I hooked the landing. I didn't fall down, right? I did the double twist and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's all part of our conversation with the challenge of this thing and the beauty of this thing, this guitar world we're in, because I think it makes us more. I never thought in a million years I'd be talking to you about this stuff, talking about now, talking about way back then. You're right, today's about way back then. I love it. I'm gonna leave it with that. So change. always loved that prog rock. Loved Led Zeppelin. I'm not an aficionado by any stretch. The music, you know, I heard so much during the 70s in my teenage years. And I didn't want to be a copy band guy, but I loved the way, I would say that was arrangements. Jimmy Page was a great guitar player, but it was so much about the arrangements, the note placement, the layering, all that kind of stuff. That's what intrigued me. That's what I was driven by. And so this song is kind of our simple, you know, our simple version or our homage to a Led Zeppelin-ish type of song. It's rooted in a typical theme, you know, young man seeing this girl, this woman, that it was unattainable, right? And I think it was a poor boy, right? So it's some kid doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't have status, and you know, it doesn't have to be a girl the whole time. It can be the unattainable, whatever your wishes are and your desires for your life, the unattainable. And we're all metaphorically poor, right? When we're reaching up, reaching for something that we don't have. It's vulnerability. There's also some angst, some attitude about all this. This song is what I love. What I love about this song is it kind of encapsulates all of that. And on top of that, when we cut this second giant record, for all of you who are interested in the kind of nuts and bolts of that, the first one we were living on the West Coast. We went to England and recorded that. The second one, by the second record, I'd moved back to Nashville. And I figured I was going to be, a rock star? Cracks me up. So this is like, 89, 90? And right around the corner were the 90s. I didn't know that back then. So anyway, I'm back in Nashville. Session career's over. Who knew, right? I'm singing on MTV when that was a big thing. And if you're too young, ask your parents about what MTV was. Moved back to Nashville, and we decided we were going to cut this in Nashville. And I was falling in love with my southerналity. I grew up in Nashville. I wasn't from the South, but there was something greasy and kind of just I don't know, fill in the blanks. I mean, we've all seen movies. I mean, there's so much beauty to it. There's some intense history, not all good either, but all of that is in the soup. And so there's a part of this thing that the lick on this thing is, I'm looking back at it now all these years. It was kind of, there's a bit of country music to it? I don't know. I mean, it was certainly Southern. So the idea, I played it on acoustic guitar. Obviously, you noticed on the playing bit, I was not doing that. It's kind of pointless to do that right now. The lick, it certainly holds up with an electric guitar. A lot of those pull-offs, right? Says that thing, right? You also notice Robert's been really cool pointing out some of these picking techniques that I didn't know were, they're not techniques as far as I was concerned. They were just kind of ways of expressing certain things. And I can't remember when the Van Halen, I do know that band's name. I was such a huge fan of Eddie's rhythm playing. There just was, we all know the lead playing, the tapping, stuff that we had never really heard until he did it. And equal with that, for me, was the rhythm playing. Three-piece band, and he just drove that thing. He was an orchestra within two hands, right? And I know that Finish What You Started preceded this. There's no doubt. So
it's 88.
Yeah, something about that. The even that. If I can get that in rhythm, I love that. I don't even know what the notation of that is. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. On a good day, I get them really even. On a bad day, it sounds like that. So anyway, so we got this little rhythm. A lot of people have expressed their desire for me to slow some of this down. Good luck to me on that. Another thing, I'll get on this thing and I'll slow it down. But I was so blown away by how many of you are joining me from other countries. And that blows me away. Wow. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, as one thing even that would be kind of cool to point out, whenever you're doing those rakes, you notice you're not going straight up.
Right.
You're diagonal and going towards the bridge, so it gets more twangy as you pull through the strings.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so that's great. So, you're on mic, right, Robert? So they heard that. Great. So, I'm less of a guy that's grown up. When you watch Jeff Beck, Roy Buchanan, and some of those legends, right? They're always fiddling with this. I always had a volume pedal, so when I'm sitting here, my foot's going to be on that. But all the nuance, once I got a sound, this would be, obviously very clean. This has a little compression on it from the M9. You hear all that. It gets more bright. It gets a little bit more spankier. Then all of a sudden I come down here. So my rakes are actually part of the rhythm. The lick is this. Tuned to a low D. Fill in your own vibrato and your own bends. C chord, G over B. Same intervals, just up 2 strings. F to a C chord with an E. C chord. Going to a B flat from the G chord, right? And I don't ever think I held that B flat. I can't do it now, so let's just assume I didn't because the bass was in by then. So B, right? If I was a real man, I'd get that. Going to a C chord. So that's an F chord. The new F, we were talking about this before I started. All my session career, I had Floyd Rose on my Strats, right? So I wasn't going to capo. I wasn't going to detune. So whenever I played, it was going to be in that key. In Nashville, we are capo people here, and it's for a good reason. It keeps all those open strings. On this one, and so consequently, I'm not really as comfortable detuning even an E dropping down to a D, because my brain, it just goes back to this muscle memory. We were talking about, before we started rolling the hard drive here, the tape, about Tom Bukovac, our friend, who seemingly can tune a guitar anyway, and he tracks it where everything is. That short circuits my brain. So anyway, I digress. F and the hammer lick. 1,000 ways of doing that, right? This string's a little flappy, so it's hard to get to that. Right. Verse. No, the first verse is. This point, do the lick. Ooh, nice. Got a comment while I'm tuning about that I seem to tune a lot. And the answer to that is I do, because there's no lock-in nut on this thing. So B section. Not a sexy chord to play when you're strapped up singing, but that's really the chord. I probably had the other guitar player, Mark Oakley, in the band doing that. And I probably just held it like this. But if you wanted to play it accurately and in the studio, this is where it starts getting a little of that cashmere thing, right? So finish what you started a little bit, right? And then we're into... slow. Oh. If you want to get technical. Going down to A chord. And you'll notice this is a little bit thinner sounding, right? Because it's just single coil pickups. While I was doing this, the layers on that sound, I don't remember exactly because we didn't really document it, or though if we did, those things are long gone. It's not like nowadays we put it in our phone, send it to our computers. But there is something, if you experiment, if you're recording, right? Or if you're in a band, I always find it helpful to have somebody on the single coil and somebody on the double coil, because they have different kind of harmonic resonance. Right now, even I'm using a pedal. I'm using just a Boss overdrive pedal, really. But even when I'm playing to touch, you notice how it cleans up, right? Go to another pickup. It just has. If you leave yourself some headroom, it sounds great. I would have probably done one or two like this, with a cleaner sound, or even much cleaner, and then probably a couple double coil or humbucker pickups, maybe like a Les Paul through just a Marshall stack without any processing to get those, just that kind of tongue and groove kind of layered sound. So a little bit thin on this right now, but for our purposes, here's what the chorus was like. Okay, so that's the chorus lick. I mean, it's pretty generic. It's not, when I say it's not hard, I mean, I know what it's like when somebody shows me a lick. You're looking at it from the opposite way, like you're looking at my fretboard right now. So, and I don't just pick stuff up like that. I mean, it takes me a while, so we'll keep working on this, right? But for right now, unless Robert has any question or remark about this to this point that I'm missing, I'll move on.
No, I think it's pretty straightforward. I mean, just, the lower strings are muted and the higher strings are unmuted.
Unmuted. And vibrato, just something about vibrato.
Attitude.
When you hear a singer, some singers, I mean, goes right on to the fast stuff, but usually a singer, and I'm not going to attempt to do it right now. That's a sore point with me because I don't sing that well anymore. So, but when you hear a singer that you like, listen to their vibrato, how it starts. And if I'm gonna give kind of a visual here, sometimes the vibrato starts slow and then picks up, right? So even within something that quick. And I'm also catching some harmonics. All in there. That's all part of the expression. Again, there's no right or wrong. You do it your way, whatever feels like that thing to you. I was wanting that to feel like an orchestra. And another point too, when I hear this old record, I always have this do it one more time-itis. I think I could play it a lot better with the band. There's some things, it sounds a little bit how shall we say, naive back then. I think I'd have played it with a little bit, even at my advanced years, with a little bit more nasty attitude now. So, yeah, that's what it'd be. Anyway, moving on. Solo section. We're going to the 4 chord. So basically, I'm moving from an E minor chord or E fifth, because there's really no thirds in these. It really tugs you towards that G chord. All fifths, E minor to F natural to G. And it's just over and over again. All right, there's back to your... That's the southern thing. It's got a little bit of Skinner maybe in some of that. Some of those rakes. Again, all that stuff, free and open, you do what you got to do. Solo in this song is in 2 sections, which really gives it that kind of orchestral charm. That's how I describe it. So we got the blues in G, going back to a D. Enough said about that. We get into the second half. We're back to the Kashmir-ish part of this this song. Moving to an A chord. Again, over and over again. That's really what that's about. Again, it's all about where the chunk sits. I could do that all day to find that relationship to the drums. If you're playing, by the way, with a band, if you're recording, try to enjoy finding that pocket, the tone, the nuance. When I was doing it, when I was much younger, I don't think I enjoyed it. I think I was so hell-bent on getting to the final product that I just didn't enjoy it like I am now. That's fun. Even something that simple, there's so much there to sink into in your own playing, in the way you hear music. It's just, this is a small world, right? You can just see Aerosmith, Dream On, when they did the big thing with the orchestra. That's what I'm picturing. Not my hair, but back then my hair. You know, wind machines, fans blowing it, everything slow motion. Tony Katane, White Snake video, all that stuff, right? That's it. Sorry, Sherry. And I'll get into a little bit of the scale that I was using during that time, which that's, I just found out what that scale is the other day, so that's fun. The end of the solo. This is a cycle of fifths, right? Nice tuning. C G, D A, E B, right? So C. Now going up to E flat. It's the same thing basically. And obviously, if you didn't have the low D string, you'd be playing it just like that. Bar chords like this, right? In this case, you got to. There's your G chord. So you stepped up E, B flat, F, C, G, D, getting to an A natural chord, which is going to take us back to D. On the play along, I think I was a beat late on that D string, or that D chord, so those of you who are watching, you'll notice that. I wasn't counting. Probably had a click going on there. But it's an orchestral type situation, and I'm not like a tapping aficionado, but I figured out a pretty cool lick on that, and actually almost landed that thing today. Good for me. So that's basically the rhythm part. There's one other small thing that I noticed when I listened to the recording today. On the B section, I'm going to go back. Oh, the hold on part. Hold on. Then right here, a little keyboard. Probably took it like that, and there's a keyboard part, and I always love those.
Yeah.
Where all those strings, it's an F, E, C, D, right? If you play it like this, it's a nice little harp sound, which I love. Put a little bit of distortion on here. Those are such great. Come up with your own, but that tension, right? Eddie Van Halen again. So that be that.
The keys in the solo section, the chords underneath it.
Oh, the solo section
are always really cool because
yeah,
you're kind of just playing root fifth.
Great point. Jumping back around to the solo. It's an A chord. Right?
Yeah.
If I were playing it, I'd probably. That's kind of nice. A and an E to a G to an F. And the scale is what, Robert?
The solo, it's kind of like a Phrygian.
Phrygian.
Mode is what the solo's, that section of the
right.
solo seems like it's out of.
When we move to the B flat, you can do, so you got this same thing, just move up the root note, B flat. Great tensioner. There's so many different ways to do it. Yeah, by the way, all of you, I did this song last week. And this is how cool Robert is, by the way. I just got to say this. And don't edit this out, Robert. Please don't.
It's gone.
I did this last Monday. I was not in a right place. I traveled a long day, whatever. And it just sucked. I'll just take my word for it. Whatever I did that day sucked. And I called Robert the next day and I said, I just don't know. I don't mind making mistakes. I want to be honest, but I don't want it to feel like it's so far off the road that you could never, you could only edit this back. So he was so kind, he's let me come over to his place on a Sunday today and redo this. So I'm very grateful for that. Anyway, getting back to all this stuff, I'm assuming that a majority of you know the mechanics, know the music theory to this stuff. Those who don't feel badly about it, because, sometimes I know the theoretical side behind something. I didn't on this one. I've heard of Phrygian, but I wouldn't know to tell you what it was until I was told by somebody else that's what I was doing. So again, all that stuff I think it's great to allow yourself, and this is me talking to myself, allow yourself to learn and not to feel badly when you don't know something, because ultimately the judge, the theoretical side is only there to put a label on something, to make it accessible for the next person. The key is what you're hearing in your mind, this music, this heart, in your heart, where you're feeling something. And you got to figure out how to get it done on your guitar. We don't all have the same technique. Some of us are not as blessed with as much of a right hand or as much of a left hand. That's no excuse. You got to find out how you're going to say something. And this is really what I've done with all this stuff. So I'm going to move on now to the lead parts, which I should make a t-shirt that says I live for solos, because that's really what I live for. Okay, how's that? Wardrobe change? No, I can't take my glasses off because I can't see the fretboard. This solo is as composed as you get. I guarantee it. This was not something I just threw out. I think I jammed it. Usually the way I do it, and I may have mentioned this earlier, so if I'm repeating myself, forgive me, but I'll play along with the track. In a perfect world, I don't think for a while. I just let something move me, and usually it will transpire in the first couple of takes. And if I'm kind of in sync with the music, not thinking too much about myself, trying to prove something, trying to be something I'm not, I'll gravitate towards something, some melodic concept. Even if it's 70, 65%, 50%, doesn't matter. And I'll listen back to some playbacks and go, okay, there's a building block. And you're going to hear me returning a lot of times to this concept, because I think we guitar players really get super sensitive or super vulnerable to not being able just to rattle off stuff willy-nilly. I mean, you've seen some of these guitar players who just seem to be, and you may be this way too. I mean, I'm sure many of you are this way. You just rattle off stuff without thinking about it. I wasn't made that way, so I have to think about stuff and suss it out. It doesn't mean I can't improvise. I do love improvising, but the kind of solos that I'm interested in, that have been driving me since I was a young guitar player, right? Young kid, were melodic statements. So that's where I'm going to default to. That's my sweet spot. So this solo really gave me some time to develop this, and I think where the key is in all this stuff. There's some good, nice, juicy, fast riffs, which I'll show you those riffs. But the key for the fast riffs is they're the yin to the yang on the melody, the nuance, and all that kind of their tension and release. Since I never developed as the guy who just sat and just was effortless and could play up and down all the time, it really helped me develop. It didn't help me; it forced me to develop a lyrical narrative when I play, and I use the speed, whatever tricks to accent all that. So that's where this solo is. So the first part of the solo, I'm in standard tuning now. So we're going basically, in essence, we're going to a G chord, right? The first thing was a harmonic. I wanted 3 octaves of D. Right there, right? Good old rock and roll, right? I started, I'll probably retune after this hit, but I hit the... See, it's a D. They're both Ds. 7th fret, G string. When I'm down, then I hit 3rd fret, just a little bit above on the G string. You hear a little bit of the G in there. Heading back towards that D chord, but that's, I do that all the time. That's just the thing. I love that sound. So, G, right? G. I think I maybe hit a little bit of harmonic on that. So, little attitude. Now here's where it comes into the a little bit of a run, right? You start it with the attitude though. Muffed one up in the middle, but you get the idea. Pause. Slow. Here's the slow one. Right, then. I wonder what that is. Almost a pentatonic. Climbing back up. Doesn't sound as good slow, does it? You can see it. I don't know if I can call this as an A. I guess to a C. A lot of wang bar. And that takes us into our A chord, right?
Held tuned pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm on there. A note. Something like that. There's a delay we turned up when it goes to, so you hear it kind of expands. All we did is had a delay on the board, and when we hit that note, producer, engineer just flicked that up. That's why it kind of sounds just kind of spacey. But that's really... Bending from that E note to the G note. And you're right there on that E note. That E really takes you into that, when you hit the B flat, right? It's pulling you there. It's undeniable, that tension pulling you towards that other chord, right? So it's like a D to a C and a G to a F. So you get the idea. You can go down to the B flat, but I didn't. Back to the A. I think I hit a double stop. B chord, right? Did your B flat triad right here, right? I think that's all part of the A Phrygian, right? So. B. I love that lick. That makes me feel very powerful, I gotta tell you. B flat triad. Right? I think it's A Phrygian, right? Whoops. Somewhere in there. It's just all those notes between the A and the B flat. But the cool thing about it is B flat. To the A chord. B flat. And this is where I did my little somewhere in there. I think I boffed one thing. It's all based off of B flat. C, B flat, A to G. Then I move this hand down one inversion. Right? Move down another inversion. So it's just basically, I mean, it's just a scale. Now, let me try to do that a little bit slower. This is where you need a Robert Baker course. That's what we need. So I'm just keeping the thing going by tapping this guy. It's never the same. I gotta tell you that. You want that Red Beecher, Steve Vai, man. Whew. Right, so you get this, and then we're down to almost like a D minor. Robert, I don't know how to teach that. I mean,
I'm not good at tapping stuff, so I would have a hard time.
Yeah, so let me break down a little bit. Let me start a lick, and then I'll slow it down just for that bit. Right? Just going down the scale. But I start it by pulling off with my finger. And then I just move down an inversion. It's just basically and I'm up here. I keep it all on this 15th fret. G, right?
Yeah. So you've kind of changed scales.
Yes.
You're not. It's not Phrygian anymore. It's Aeolian or like C major.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So all the scales. Chop it up however you need to do on this. This is where I got into the. I wanted to get to a C note, right? So I just basically outlined all those chords, and then I played an octave line up top. Then we're into the E flat, F chord, G chord, A, screaming, a little bit of harmonic, and then there's your D chord. You're back to that. Somewhere in that inefficient lesson, maybe you'll find some of your guitar piece. You can discard any and all of that, but that's my best I got today, and I'm feeling pretty damn good about it. Hopefully you find a little something in Chained here that inspires you, answers a few questions, or moves you down the line looking for what you're looking for. Until the next time, unless, Robert, you got anything?
Well, I think we got to put you on the spot and ask for that last lick, the outro.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, watch this. So, yeah, Robert, yeah, God. Good, we're going to struggle on this one together. This will be fun. I'm not going to hide anything on this. Very simple pattern, not easy to play though. Starting with a G on the D string, C, D, right? So that's not too bad. Great. Okay, but then where it gets dicey, and I don't know where this came from, but it's not sweep picking that I just found out earlier today, because I have to pretty much pick A to a D. Basically, it's alternating that twice. Then there's a scale. Something like that. That's what it is. So somehow I get enough inertia to get to that D. I'm probably playing it a little bit differently every time. I guarantee I never play it the same way twice. But there's something, well, you notice a little string thing to that. When you get it 100% at speed, which I did on that record, there's no doubt that was rocking good. I'll be practicing it this week. I think even doing it down an octave is kind of cool because you have to stretch more. That's just hard for me. Anyway, so all of us, right? We're gonna all practice that this week.
It's a cool lick.
Have it back next week. I'm gonna fly that thing in some time, just out of nowhere. I'll probably be doing a clean chorus part, and I'm gonna play that lick for you, and I'm gonna knock your socks off the next time. Till then, I hope you have a great week. See ya.